அவர் இளைஞர். என்னென்ன இளைஞர்களுக்கு இடம் கொடுக்கவில்லை என்கின்ற ஒரு பாரிய குற்றம் இருக்கின்றது. நாங்கள் இளைஞர்களுக்கு என்று சொல்லி எல்லா விதத்திலையும் தேடுகின்றோம். நாங்கள் மிக வரவேற்க இருக்கின்றோம். தயவு செய்து நீங்கள் யாராவது இளைஞரை கொண்டு வந்து இப்படியான விஷயங்களிலே சேர்க்கிறது என்றால் அவர்கள் தாராளமாக வரலாம், அவர்களுக்குரிய பயிற்சிகள் கொடுக்கலாம் என்பதை இந்த சைவ
Tiruchittambaram, Namasivaya, Sarvam Siddhamaya. All glories to Lord Arunachaleshwara and Abhidha Kujambalaman. It is by their grace alone that we are all here and are aware of this present moment. All glories to the Nine Maths, who are the embodiment of Siva Parabhakti. I'm eternally grateful to them for showering us all with their grace, for continually reminding us as to what is Siva Bhakti, and for brightly lighting the plethora of paths to Shiva's holy feet. My humble respects to both revered special guest speakers, Sri Sivanyana Baliya Swami from Mailadinam, and Guru Mahasannidhanam Satguru Bodhinatha Velan Swami from Kavyadinam, and also special guest speaker Sri Ramaswamy Sundararajan Swami. My humble respects and gratitude to the Federation of Saiva UK Temples, and heartfelt respects to all Siva Bhaktas present here today. I'm blessed to have an opportunity to speak for a few minutes on a topic that many of us don't pay enough attention to, but is of paramount importance to ourselves, our loved ones, and the wider community and society at large. I'd like to talk about our well-being and its importance as a South Asian Saivite living in the UK. The great Siddha Nayanar, Tirumular, reminds us all in the Tirumandaram that the body is a sacred and precious instrument. In one verse, he essentially states that once he saw Shiva within, he realized that the body is the Lord's temple, and as such began preserving it with infinite care. As Tirumula Nayanar highlights to us, we have a great responsibility, a duty to respect our bodies, for it is this vessel that facilitates the possibility of self-realization and allows us to serve Lord Shiva and his devotees on this plane of existence. As a Saivite with Sri Lankan heritage, born and raised in the UK, from my perspective, it would seem that we as a Sri Lankan and Indian Saivite community don't prioritize our well-being, whilst we all have some degree of understanding that a healthy body and mind is advantageous. As a community, we value academic and material success at the expense of our physical and mental well-being. We also presume that by simply coming to the temple, that we have fulfilled our religious and spiritual duties, and that Lord Shiva will simply take care of our well-being and all the things that we value in our life. Now, if a child says to their parents, I don't need to study for my science exam tomorrow because I prayed to Pillai today and I'm confident that he'll bless me with an A star, we all know what the parents would likely respond to the child. Only if you study and give 100% will Pillai help you to achieve the best possible grade. Effectively, the parent is telling the child, take ownership of your life and do your duty. Do everything possible and you'll have the grace of the Lord. We as a community seem to fail in understanding this very point when it comes to our own well-being, despite the Saiva traditions and scriptures providing an ocean of guidance for us. Many of us lack a fully disciplined and balanced structure to our life which would promote greater well-being for us all. At present, so number one, our dietary and drinking habits damage and hinder rather than nourish our body with the necessary nutrients and positive prana. 2, our sedentary, low physical activity and non-yogic sadhana lifestyles diminish our vibrancy, vitality, suppleness, and ability to even sit in comfort. Number 3, our lack of regular pranayama breathing exercises means that we are not regulating the prana, so the vital force entering the body. and for our lack of daily attentive chanting and meditation means that our minds wander wildly and remain restless and vulnerable to non-sattvic thoughts and potentially mild and more serious forms of depression. With respect to dietary and drinking habits, we as a community seem to enjoy an abundance of white rice and curries drenched in oil and salt. Sadly, this regular high-carb and fat diet is particularly harmful to our physical well-being, and eating high portions puts excessive stress on the body, especially when those individuals are not physically active. The British Heart Foundation state on their website that the risk of coronary heart disease is up to 50% higher in first-generation South Asians than in the white European population in the UK. According to Diabetes UK, South Asians are 6 times more likely to develop type 2 diabetes than in Europeans. We seem to be eating as if we are living in Sri Lanka, labouring in the hot sun for 12 hours a day, where it may be necessary to have a high-carb and oily diet. But the reality is that we are living in London, where many of us spend most of our time within 4 walls, drive to and from most locations, do zero physical activity, or practice any yoga asanas. We need to pay greater attention to the nutritional content of food, the pranic quality of foods, and the process of preparing food. The body requires a certain type of food to operate optimally. Meat eating is not uncommon in the UK Saiva community. However, the Saiva tradition strongly advises us all to refrain from meat consumption. This particular point is noted and emphasized in the Tirumandaram by Tirumular. In the yogic tradition, it is generally understood that it is best to consume that which is furthest away from you genetically. So in that sense, plant life is furthest away from us. Leaving aside morality and ethics, continually eating food with complex genetic code is harmful to the human system. The World Health Organization has a clear body of evidence that bowel cancer is more common among those who eat the most red and processed meat. Processed meat consumption has also been strongly linked to a higher risk of stomach cancer. So whilst the majority of bhaktas here in attendance today are vegetarian, it is quite likely that many of us still eat foods which are considered to be negatively pranic. Many of the foods that fall in this category are addictive and also nervous stimulants. They can give a quick energy boost for a moment, but in the long run they tend to withdraw the energy from the body. So we should avoid garlic, onion, chili, green peppers, red peppers. We should also avoid aubergine, which destroys the part of the hypothalamus, the part of the brain that helps in decision making. We should refrain from coffee, tea, and other intoxicants. It may be slightly surprising to you all that garlic tops the chart as the most negative pranic food. Garlic is good to be taken only as a medicine for controlling cholesterol, but not as a daily food item. There are many negative side effects of consuming garlic as part of your diet. Yogis do not consume onion and garlic, as these foods can stimulate passion and increase ignorance, thus interfere with their meditation practices. We are encouraged in our Saiva tradition to eat fruits, vegetables, nuts, sprouted grams, dried fruits, ashgaud, and even honey, as they are considered to be positively pranic. I would humbly ask the Federation of Saiva Temples in the UK to ensure all prasadam offerings at the temple to be healthier from a nutritional, pranic, and low salt and oil point of view. It is not necessary to feed people excessive amounts of rice, sakara pongal, modaham, high salt, and oily curries. The Federation has a responsibility to set an example and gradually educate and slowly change the eating habits of our Saiva community for the good of us all. Once we have addressed our dietary needs and required fuel for the body, we need to spend time to keep the body in optimal condition, vibrancy, and vitality. Asanas, the postures practiced, comprise the third limb of Ashtanga Yoga, proposed in Tirumala's Tirumandram and Patanjali Muniva's Yoga Sutras. Through the practice of asanas, we develop the habit of discipline and the ability to concentrate, both of which are necessary for meditation and physical well-being, happens to be a convenient byproduct. Through the practice of pranayama, literal translation, life force extension, we'll be able to fully activate the body and ultimately yield life's nectar. There are numerous health benefits to the practice of varying pranayama techniques, but it is important to note that these well-being benefits are a convenient byproduct, not the purpose of the technique. By chanting the Panchakshara Mantram and learning to become meditative and practicing meditation techniques, there are boundless benefits for mental well-being. The rhythm and sound of the chanting channels energy throughout the body. The movement of energy regulates the chemicals in our brains. It blocks stress hormones and releases endorphins. Chanting helps us to better regulate our heart rate. Mantras enhance positive alpha, gamma, delta, and the brain waves that kick in during relaxation. Chanting increases immune functions and lowers blood pressure. Of course, again, the ultimate purpose is to reach self-realization and attain Siva consciousness. It is important to reiterate the importance of us all maintaining a disciplined practice that combines many of the different elements and components of Ashtanga Yoga. The Saiva community have been blessed with an ocean of guidance on how to live life in an optimal and perfect state of existence. Yet it is fair to say that the majority of us, including myself, will go through our entire lives operating well below even 50% of what we are capable of as human beings and devotees of Lord Shiva. We have a duty to ourselves to improve our own well-being, for the benefit of ourselves, but also for the benefit of our families, our community, and society. The world needs fully Shiva-conscious, fully self-aware, balanced, healthy, vibrant, active, disciplined, compassionate, devoted, and loving Saivites. Those who follow Tirumala's profound guidance will always have his grace and the grace of Sivaparamān flowing through every cell of their bodies. We expect our children to demonstrate the highest level of dedication to their academics and professional careers. However, it is of the greatest importance that we finally change that narrative and place well-being and Shiva consciousness above everything else. And there's them.